So, James, recently has been many killings of young black people here in the U.S. by the law enforcement. People who were not presenting any threats to the police officers. They were just standing there. It has been caught in video, it has been wild announced, and yet there is no punishment for those police officers. Can you comment a little bit on that aspect, and also how this is related with what happened with young black communities in Brazil?
We're facing a crisis here in the United States of the gene of racism, which was inseminated into the founding of this republic with enslaved Africans who were treated as property, and the emergence of a use of official violence as police to hinder that property and to keep it from actualizing itself through violence. We are now in a crisis in the sense that we're seeing an increase in the killing of young black people, especially young black men, by white police officers in a world in which now social media is able to document that there is no obvious provocation on the part of the people who are being shot, and that the sociology is very starkly that the victims are black, and that the use of official violence in the police are generally, although not exclusively, white. It's a crisis because, notwithstanding the fact that this violence has always been perpetrated against the black community and across class lines, the black community is now rising up with these new young adult leaders like Black Lives Matter and other social movements of young black leaders who are engaging young white millennials who don't want to live in this kind of society, who are standing forth with them to call out that Black Lives Matter and to demand that there be a change in the policies that we're facing. It is a horrible situation, so much so that other countries around the world that have black citizens and having young people travel from those countries to the U.S. are sending out warnings because they too can see the pattern of these white police killings of young black people. However, this crisis that we're facing in the United States is also common throughout the American hemisphere, from Canada right down to Brazil and Uruguay. Brazil is perhaps the most unspoken, egregious situation of the killing of young black people on a daily basis. Almost 8 a day in Brazil, because it has the largest African descendant population outside of Nigeria. We are 40 million or so here in the United States, and in Brazil, there are somewhere between 90 and 100 million people who are of African descent. This suggests that we need a united front, not only among Afro descendants across this hemisphere, but a united front of all freedom and justice loving people, whatever their racial or ethnic or ideological or political background, to stand against the injustice that is happening to us. And so what we're already seeing is that Black Lives Matter, like social media, is going viral in its organization. And it will take on the issues of racism and the systemic issues of other forms of injustice here in the United States. But you will also see Black Lives Matter emerging in other countries around the world. And it is coming to Brazil right in the middle of the Olympics. So as we say, fora termir, we should also say forma racismo.
Thank you very much,
I hope,
James.
does that work?